And yes, I think I'm live. Okay, so MVL and Nepo today are the guys I'm gonna talk about. I don't have that much personal experience with them. I never played any of them, although I was quite close to playing MVL in French League last year. But well, we changed the board order, so I didn't have a chance to face him. Maybe someday in the future. And I never played Jan Nepomniachtchi, although just like with Caruana, I have experience sitting literally next to him. So I would share you that story, which would tell you a lot about Jan that you will need to know for the candidates. So let's just dive in. So we're going to talk about MVL and Nepo, and we'll start with MVL first. A little backstory. As you can see, two players are Caruana and Vasiela Graf, so you can include this game as into FIDE's profile. And so why did I find this game interesting? Nobody has analyzed this game for Megabase as far as I'm concerned, so I had to check through Chess24 how much time did people actually did they spend per moves. So they actually blitzed out lots of moves until move 21. They Fabiano blitzed 21st move, and then Maxime started thinking. But before we get to chess, I want to tell you a little old story. I think the year was 2005 or maybe I think I checked, I think it was 2006. I was playing some closed tournament in France, and this girl was playing in the women's section, Natasha Benmesbach, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she told me that you should pay attention to this guy. His name is Maxime. His last name is Vasiela Graf. He would be huge. He's gonna be huge one day. That's what she told me in 2006. So that was 14, maybe a little less, 14 years ago. And I checked that some of his games, his rating was like 2550, 2570 maybe. And well, I think he's 29 now. Let me check that for you. Vasiela Graf, 29, currently 29 years old. So in 2006, that was 14, so maybe 15. That was his age. He was 2570, and she was telling me all about him, how talented he is. So I knew that he's gonna be big like 14 years ago. Well, I didn't know, but that name already was in my head. And here he is, finally at the candidates. So it's a dramatic story that Rajabov decided to not play due to various reasons that are quite reasonable, I would say. And so he's gonna finally play his candidates. He never played one, even though he deserved it by all means, but well, the rules are the rules. So what do I think about him? Unfortunately, I never played him, but from what I see from all the games, all the tournaments that he is playing, his opening repertoire is very narrow, at least with black. Which is usually the black is the hardest one. With white, in the worst case, you don't get anything. But surviving with black, that's the key to success. You know, to win candidates, you need like a few wins, and that's it. You can win the candidates. So his opening repertoire is very narrow. He's playing Najdorf and Grunfeld. That's basically it. Well, maybe there are some other moves, but that's mainly it. So he's extraordinarily predictable. And I would say it takes a lot of guts to go into those sharp, very demanding lines where you have to know your files. Your files has to be good, and you have to memorize all of them. And you shouldn't be scared of Fabi's or Magnus's team. You know, there are a team of grandmasters that could try to find holes in your preparation. And so today we're going to talk about confidence, I would say. Confidence of MVL going for same lines over and over again. And Nepo, he's quite the same. He also plays Grunfeld and Najdorf. Maybe some other lines. I didn't do the research well. Sorry, guys. By the way, you can ask questions in chat. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, like the video. Just buy my video course if you're into tactics. Maybe later I'll do Patreon if you want to donate something. That I would highly appreciate it. If not, just like it. Just like is enough. Okay, so it takes lots of guts to play very predictable, very dangerous lines. So here we go. Caruana, Vasiela Graf, St. Louis Cup 2019, last year. Najdorf, H3, Knight to B3. So there are I don't call, actually, I don't think Najdorf is an opening. I think it's an opening of openings. Because every line is different. Every line is like new opening. There are so many things that white can do. For example, in this position, there are only several moves that white hasn't tried yet on the highest level possible. Let's start from the left part of the board. White tried A3. I think Magnus played it. A4 people played. Okay, B3, B4 doesn't make sense. Knight B3 was played. Quite often the idea is that if white goes knight b3 and black insists on Najdorf, then bishop g5 and white gets this line, which by the way I play myself, this line, but it's in a much better version because maybe bishop goes here, maybe bishop stays here, maybe bishop goes to g2 or h3, it depends. So that's a good line, so they try knight b3. What else? Knight f3 was even tried. Bishop e3, bishop g5, Queen d3, Queen f3, Queen e2, h3, h4, g3, f3, f4. How many arrows? Rook g1. Sorry, I forgot. Rook g1. I don't know how many arrows, but all of these. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the bishop. 1, 2, and 3. This is a ridiculous number of lines. You would have to be. So I don't call it as one opening. This is like you have to know so much. This is opening of openings. I'm gonna, okay, I'm really interested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I think bishop d2 was played. So up to 20 different moves white has tried here. So imagine the amount of knowledge required to play this one. So your opponent can just pick one line where you're very predictable and just analyze it for a week, you know, and you should be ready to face it. Okay, so as I told you before, they blitzed out moves until move 21. Okay, so I'm gonna open online database, which would be, okay, so okay, that was after. So after this game, which took place in August, then Vasiela Graf played it in November 3 times with Wesley, so maybe that was some rapid tournament. Yeah, Wesley didn't play g4 after this game, he castled. So g4, here, already only 4 games, and there's just 1 GM game for Chen Esteban against Rif. Ah, okay. My captain, I think, or maybe that's the same last name. Anyway, so there are basically no games for this position, and that's move 11. There are some correspondence games, maybe one correspondence game, which is this one, Team from 2017. That's it. So really new territory, and Maxim is blitzing out moves. He's blitzing out until move 21. I don't want to get into details. The position is messy and crazy. So white is exchange up. Black has 2 pawns, but f-file is open. The pawn on e4 will not survive most likely. Rook to a4, knight f6, g5, rook g5. Another exchange sacrifice. So this is a fascinating position, by the way. That okay, the game was lost, but is lost in the online database. But the correspondence game continued with Queen e2. And Fabi played c4, which is, by the way, the first line of Stockfish. So let's see. Yeah, c4, the best line by Stockfish. So here, Maxim thought for half an hour. Half an hour he thought here, so I'm gonna let engine run. I hope it wouldn't mess with my stream. No. Hello, Sanjay Ramesh. Hello to you too. Okay, so 2 exchanges up for white for 3 pawns. So I don't even know how to evaluate that. I don't know what Fabi had prepared against Queen g6 or Bishop to e7. So what I want to point out is the following. Very often Maxim gets into opening preparation, Very often he ends up in not a very good position. I know, okay, very often it's too strong, but compared to his level, or Fabi's level, for example. He gets into trouble, but then he feels his opening so well, he knows where to put the pieces, where they belong, so he can get away with lots of things. So for example, here, if you listen to Stockfish, it gives zeros all over the place, and Maxime played for half an hour, he played very human move. He just put the queen on h4, which is a great move to play. You approach with the queen to the king, right? You keep an option of knight g4 check if queen moves somewhere. Maybe you want to go h5. Maybe you actually, this is a huge threat. This is a huge threat. Bishop is coming to f4 and white king would be hopeless. So here Fabi thought for half an hour and played queen to e1. According to Stockfish, this is advantage, but from human point of view, check out what happened next. Without the queens, these pawns would be really, really difficult to stop. Unless, if white is not careful, the knight would move, f5, f4, e3, the pawns will start going, supported by the knight and the bishop. White could even lose this one. Well, white played very dynamic, attacking immediately. Immediate attack, d5, rook b4. So white has to play like this, otherwise those pawns would just start going. King goes to c7, rook to b6, bishop f4. By the way, it requires enormous calculation on Maxime's part. To sacrifice another, okay, 2 exchanges down, he was there already, but he wasn't afraid of the preparation, and he figured out the position quite well. The evaluation of Stockfish here is misleading. 0.7, rook d5, takes. He took the pawn. This is more or less a fortress. Of course, white is better, that's why +1, because the e-pawns are not going anywhere. But black has everything under control. There could be a passed pawn on the a-file, and I'm pretty sure it's a fortress, or it looks like a draw to me for sure. So I think, so he played very natural moves. c3, a4, takes. That was it. So basically that was a perfect game by Maxime. That's it. Actually, no, black was playing for a win because the a-pawn cannot be stopped, but obviously it's a... Okay, by the way, talk about misleading evaluation of Stockfish. Minus 0.8. This is ridiculous. Children know this is a draw. By the way, I don't know why did he do it? Okay, maybe he decided to make a stalemate, or maybe the draw offer was not allowed there. Obviously, that was a draw. So this is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. He's very predictable in his opening choices, and he often gets in trouble, but he almost always gets away with it because he feels those positions with his fingers, basically. And I want to point out that he's extraordinarily good player in rapid. Just a few months ago, he was #1 rated. So only recently Carlsen beat him like 20 points or something. And the reason for that is because his opening repertoire is very narrow, and he knows it and feels it very well. He doesn't have to change to another opening repertoire like many like Magnus playing London system, for example. I didn't see him, I don't remember him playing classical London system. He uses it basically for rapid and blitz. So he needs another opening and Maxime plays his lines and he feels them very well. Even under heavy preparation, he can get away with it. So it takes guts. And well, of course, very good home preparation and very good memory. So all the best to Maxime. And now let's talk about Nepo. Okay, I'm gonna promote this board. Wait a minute. Come on. Okay, I'm just gonna close this board. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I need to delete this one. Yeah, okay. So, completely different story. So this Vachier-Lagrave story was not too personal, but it was it's a good story to share with friends. 15 years ago I knew he's gonna be big. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a story about Jan Nepomniachtchi. This was year 2013, European individual, round number 7. So to give you a little context, round number 7, Jan has +1 out of 6, so that's 3.5 out of 6. Not the best result you can think of, right? So, and so we are playing, I don't remember the board we were playing. I also had 3.5 out of 6, and I was playing Yakovenko. So Yakovenko, I'm playing white Yakovenko. Yakovenko is in front of me. And to the left from me, Yakovenko was like 27, 20 maybe, so a little above Nepo. And my rating was 25, 60 something. So we are sitting on, Neponesh is sitting next to me, and Karen Grigoryan is in front of me. And I'm playing Yakovenko. The game was not very interesting. It was draw all the game. But I was sitting next to Nepo, where he was playing against Karen Grigoryan. So we're not really interested in the opening, I would say. I want to tell you about Jan's confidence, even overconfidence in some cases, I would say, sorry. Okay. I need to wrap up my stream. I have a class. Okay. So he's sitting next to me, and I don't really pay attention to what is going on in his game, so we're gonna skip to the important moment. So open dynamic position, different castle, rook c1, automatic move, and I have no way of checking it, that was 2013, but I remember that he played rook f2 e1 very quickly, and his opponent Karen Grigoryan was very surprised with that move, and he thought for some time and checked out what happened. Okay, I'm gonna not use stockfish now for a moment. g5 is a fork. Queen takes g5, rook to g8. The only way to keep this knight protected is to go queen f6, and now knight f5, knight goes in between. Now two knights are hanging, this one and this one. And if knight takes f5, it's queen f4, pinning and winning the knight, and there's no way to attack unprotected bishop on d7. So even if there was, the queen would get trapped. Either way, black is just winning here. So here, Jan plays knight e6, f takes e, takes, and this position appears, and it was obvious to me that he blundered, because he played rook f2 e1 very quickly. He didn't think that g5 was possible. g5 happened, rook g8 happened, knight f5, and now black wins material. So I'm gonna run stockfish now if you don't believe me. So rook f2 e1 was a mistake. He should have played something else. Rook f d1 was good. And now g5, queen g5, rook g8. Well, knight g6 was better. Either way, losing the knight. Clearly, he blundered. His position was good. Rook f d1 was better, I think, because knight bishop on d7 would be hanging in those lines. Okay, so here, knight f5, he takes on e6. If Karen would have taken with the bishop, which are, by the way, what you're supposed to be doing, exchanging pieces if you're one piece up. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and it's actually not obvious for human eye that having three pawns could be so bad, but it's almost impossible to hold because the knight is coming next. So queen f3, for example, I think knight is just coming, and the attack is overwhelming, and black wins a pawn and then the game. So the game actually should have been in black's favor. So, but what I want you to know, so I'm looking at this position. I didn't know that bishop e6 was better, but I still look at this position, and I'm like, okay, black has extra piece for just two pawns. There are two open files here. Well, white does want to go b5, but black has some pieces next to it. It's obvious to me that black is better. And then I look at Nepo, and he's so confident. He played moves very quickly, trying to intimidate his opponent. And Karen is thinking like this. He's all red. He confused because he's better. Okay, not much better because white does have two pawns and the attack, but the evaluation is in black's favor, half a pawn or more, depending on the depth, you know. So, but it's obvious that he blundered. Whenever people blunder, they lose confidence. And Jan got extra confidence. He even pressed so hard, and after that, he just slowly outplayed his opponent. And he was playing very quickly. Very quickly, I'm going to show you to the takes. Now he has three pawns, and now he win back material, and then he won. And what happened next? So we both had 3.5 out of 6. Not the best result. For me, it was decent result. Not good this result for him. After this win, where he was supposed to be losing, but by pushing hard and being so confident, he finished, so round 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 rounds to go. He scored 4.5 out of 5, got 8 out of 11, beating Oleksiyenko in last round on first board to tie for the first place, and he tied first after this. One move, you know, the whole tournament could have been decided by bishop takes e6, and white is basically lost here. But black didn't do it, he kept pressing, and usually one game can just, you can just win the tournament after that. He's very confident, he plays very fast chess, although his opening repertoire is narrow. Up until some moment he had a positive score against Magnus, so he would be quite an annoying opponent for Magnus. Although I think with such narrow repertoire it would be quite challenging for him to win. I wish the players the best, and I will try to stream tomorrow about the last players that we didn't talk yet, Grischuk and Oleksiyenko. Unfortunately, I don't have any personal stories to share. So if you like what you saw, like the video, subscribe for my channel, and let your friends know. You can read more in the description. Take care, and bye-bye.